Okay, so I've got my 6 steaks, or ribs in, sorry, not steaks. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my weaver. You want something relatively small. It is always best to start behind the hoop. Okay, so this is just over and under. And is it a little precocious to start with? Oh yes. You want to get those in as tight as you can. And you want to do at least 3 rows before you turn over and go on the other side. I've got myself a really long weaver, which in my case is not necessarily a good idea, so let me cut that off. Okay, here we go. So, start behind the hoop, and my problem is here I'm a lap weaver, and I can't weave on my lap and show you at the same time, so bear with me. And I'm going to come back over the hoop, making sure I haven't twisted anything. One thing I do before I start this is, see how that just twang out the other side? That's fine, because I'm not working on that side right now, so let it twang. I forgot what I was going to tell you. Oh, water is glue in a basket. So that means that if I want something to hold for me, like here, what I'll do is spray that, because the longer you let it sit without weaving these guys up, the drier they get and the easier they pull out. So before I start this, I'll spray them just a little bit. And it also helps to make sure that your weaver is really flexible. And the way to get it really flexible is to soak it in warm water. Makes a big difference if you're soaking it in warm water versus cold. Okay, and when you're first starting out these guys, you want a relatively thin or small width weaver. Now you can use like a round reed if you want, number 2 or number 3. Or you can use, you know, like 3/16 works too. So one of the things that I do when I'm weaving that I want you to see is I pull down with the weave. Okay. And that does a couple of things. First of all, it helps make it tight, but it also packs it down. So I'll actually hold that like this and pull down. That way it's not popping any ribs out. Okay. And when I say 3 rows, it's actually more like 6. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3 up on top here. Okay. So, and after I've got these 3 in here, and they're secure, then I'll add a second row, or a second set of stakes. Once again, I'm going to pull down so that's nice and tight. Okay. So, now, I'm going to do one more row, so actually that's like 6 rows, but when you count it up on the rim, it looks like 3. And that'll hold that well. Notice that my weaver is not long. The longer your weaver and rib constructed baskets, the more headaches you're going to get. This should be about a yard's length. Okay, so that gives me 3 on each side. And I'm just going to weave this in here a little bit so it holds. You can always clip it if you want, but I don't see any need to do that. So there's the start of that one. And then I'm going to go over and do the same thing on the opposite side. And then I'll add another set of ribs, 4 on each side. And what I'll do is I'll put them right next to the existing rib. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll do the whole thing over again. That's how you start it.